Anthony's mom has been sober for months now, and she did it because it impacted her so much when my son was removed from her. So this has helped her tremendously because she knows she can call me, she can text me. I give her words of encouragement, and sending her pictures of Anthony as he grows up has really encouraged her.
So our connection to her birth family, her birth mom and I exchanged email addresses before the adoption, before the last visit. And I set up an anonymous email address because we didn't feel that it was safe with some of the people that her birth mom were involved with to disclose our identity. But we wanted to keep in touch with her so that she would know that Bobby was safe and how she was growing and how she was doing. So I have had regular contact with her over the last 5 years. That's her primary identity. She was 7 years with her birth family. And then I don't want her to feel that that is a bad part of her life, even though they made poor choices. I want her to celebrate her birth family and love her birth family because that impacts her sense of who she is and her sense of how valuable she is. I don't want her to feel that any part of her is bad. And so I think it's really important that she sees her birth family in a celebratory way.
It is a challenge because she's my daughter. And I love her so much, but I had to let go of her because you have to concentrate on your children that you're in charge of. You can't focus on the adult. You really have to focus on the innocent children. And I didn't have enough energy to try to keep a relationship. Well, you can't really keep a relationship with somebody who's using drugs. But she's been doing quite well in the past few years, and so we're working on having more of a relationship and having the kids see her more. I think it's totally important for children to see their birth parents and to know them.
I think one of the things that I would share, that I would tell people about adoption, it's a beautiful thing. And never introduce your children as adoptive children. Always introduce them as your children because they are yours. And just do whatever you can for them to help them with their trauma, and because you will learn so much from them.
My advice to adoptive parents is don't sweat the small stuff. Don't do it the same way. If you have birth children, don't do it the same way you did it with your birth children. You cannot do it the same way. You have to think big picture. And so if you just took in a 5-year-old, you have to remember what it's like to take a newborn and do those first 18 months with the 5-year-old the same way you did your first 18 months with your newborn. Now, for some adoptive families, they never had a newborn. So you have to think, what would I do with a newborn? I would kiss that child. I would love that child. I would coo at that child. I would tell that baby how beautiful they are. I would learn how to communicate with them. I would learn all of their unspoken signals. The first 18 months you build trust. But that's my best advice, to take those first 18 months to 2 years to build a loving relationship. The rest you can deal with later. Once you have built that, then the child knows that the first time you correct them, that it's being done in love. You would never take a newborn and correct them. Never. In any way, especially harshly. You wouldn't do it. You have to think of that child that you just took into your family in that same way as you would a newborn.
The only thing I can think of adding that's really important is that when you make the decision, it's a commitment, it's a permanent commitment.
Yes.
You don't think, oh, we'll try this and see how it goes, if we can handle it or not, or no. It's probably not gonna work if that's the way you go into it. Kind of the same way that, your marriage isn't gonna work if you're like, oh, okay, well, hopefully this will be good. No, so yeah, just
Yes.
make up your mind that it's going to be difficult, and you just be prepared and do whatever you need to do to get through that, and because you will get through it if you just have the right attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say to kinship families to really, it's worth it, even though you may feel your age, maybe you'll feel tired, you'll feel lack of support. It's worth it. I mean, you're changing the life of a child, as opposed to going on a cruise. I mean, kind of weigh it. What's the difference, or whatever you might be doing at that age without the children. It's like, don't even question it. You've got to do it and get the help that you need, because there is help. Kids and families.
November 20th, her adoption birthday, we buy a cake, and our family tradition is the adopted child gets to smash her face in the cake. And then the rest of the family, if they want to, gets to smash our faces in the cakes, and then we take pictures.